Helldivers 2 is an online shooter game available on PlayStation and PC. A sequel to a franchise I honestly didn't even know existed, but boy did this game come out of nowhere and everyone is talking about it. You jumped on board. You had that FOMO like you always do. You had to get in on the conversation. Tell me, what the heck is Helldivers 2?
My buddy Matthew Keel got me interested in Helldivers because he was such a big fan of the first game. So Arrowhead Game Studios made Helldivers 1, which was like a top-down shooter, and Helldivers 2, when I had heard it was coming, I was like, all right, now's my time. Let me go ahead and jump in. So I actually was in before it blew up for once, but the FOMO definitely got me playing more, and it's just an excellent game all around. Since people have probably heard a lot about it, I won't get into the simple stuff, but long story short is it's you could play single player if you'd like, but it's primarily a co-op experience where you play as a super soldier fighting for democracy in the name of Super Earth against 2 invading forces. So you go to different planets and you fight the bugs, the Terminids, and then you fight the robots, the automatons, and you are tasked with different missions, like go and kill their nests, go and launch these missiles from different sites. So you drop down from your starship and you go down in these little pods in the most epic intro sequence imaginable, and you boom pop down onto the planet and you're just in the ship right away and just fighting and shooting and calling down ordnance from the sky and lasers and missiles. And the whole name of the game is that it's a very unforgiving game. You have a very low health bar and you are able to die from everything from friendly fire to you calling down ordnance on yourself accidentally. And then, of course, the bugs and all these robots that have no chill, just lasers everywhere. You feel like you're in a war zone, and the music's going and it's all like dramatic, and to have you like feel like a soldier and you're like throwing grenades and just trying to survive. It's a beautiful game because it's so finely tuned. You are in these missions and you have one of like, I think it's 9 difficulty levels, and you could turn up the intensity of like the number of enemies and how accurate they are and what you're asked to do. And you have harder objectives. And then there always seems to be a magical, like just enough of an intensity where you make it out alive, and at the end of the mission you call down a drop ship and it's like, I'll be there in 2 minutes, and then it comes down and you like jump on and like escape. I don't know what it is, but I feel like they play tested the hell out of this game, so it makes you feel like you are barely surviving. I don't know if it's like they kept testing like, okay, now how aggressive are these enemies, and will they let you turn your back on them and spit acid and have it just be just out of reach, so if you run you will dodge the bullets and you will dodge the acid. Like, it's so finely tuned that it just somehow feels like you're on the edge of death at any time. So when you come down to these planets and you're doing your objectives with your team, you have a certain number of lives shared between all of you. So I think it's 20 or 15. This is the standard, where you come down and then every time someone dies, again, from any reason, you have a life ticker that goes down. It's like, oh, we have 15 and now all of a sudden someone dropped a grenade on themselves and we have 14. And then you have to call via like your little ordinance. You call in what they call a stratagem, and you hit like up, down, left, right, that, and on the D-pad, and you input a code, and that's like, okay, now all of a sudden you have this grenade and you throw it, and now your teammate will be respawned and come down from the ship in the sky, and they will fall down to the earth again or to the planet, and they'll respawn, and you keep doing that. So if things are going wrong, your teammates are dying left and right, you might be the only one left in a 4-person squad, so you're like, let me respawn somebody really quick and input this as I'm running from bugs, and then you throw the grenade and you try to like put it in a good spot so when your teammate comes down, he has a good vantage point and he can start to cover you. And it's just chaos all the time. Now, you're not a multiplayer person. You like single player games. You like the story. You really don't, it's not your bag. Do you have any desire to play Helldivers based on all this great word of mouth from me and others?
I'm not gonna lie, like PlayStation promoted this quite a bit. They showed this off several times, and I'd watch and I'd be like, well, that looks fun, that looks cool. But I think so much of the joy of a game like this is not only the, like you said, the squad play, playing with your friends, but it's like those viral moments. I've seen so many clips of streamers playing this game. It seems like the perfect stream game. Like a lot of just like comedy of skin of your teeth, kind of, oh my God, I can't believe I pulled that off kind of stuff. This game, I would absolutely play this on like a PlayStation Plus free kind of thing. I don't know that I would spend the money just because I don't have the time to set up time to play with people. My game time is so like, I got a half an hour now. I'm going to try to get something in. So I can't schedule my game time. I would love to experience something like this. It doesn't fit into my life. But I was talking about Final Fantasy on Threads, and somebody made the comment of like, my God, man, you should be playing Helldivers 2 if you want to talk about Game of the Year. And I'm like, I recognize that is like the game of the moment. I totally do. And I bet it's fucking awesome. And hearing you talk about it sounds incredible. It's just, I recognize it's not a game that fits into my life right now. So this is a game that I will be appreciating from the outside, but it sure damn looks cool.
It's got a whole lot of elements that if you like a shooter and that's what you're into, is like, let me just throw down some bombs. Let me unlock a laser that's just gonna like zap, and electrocute like enemies in front of me and have it be very satisfying and visceral and have that chaos around me. If that's your thing, then this is for you, and for Final Fantasy fans, I mean, get out of here. If you're a fan of that game and you played the original, then you just have to see this fully realized amazing take on the remake of it. So different games for different people.
Is this arcadey, or is this like I think there's like different kinds of shooters, right? Like I feel like there's some shooters where it's like super technical and you're leveling up your characters. And then there's like arcadey shooters where it's just pop it in and play and then walk away.
It's such a beautiful mix. I would say the original Helldivers was kind of like a twin stick shooter almost, right? Where you're moving your legs around and you're like have a top down view. And it was all about shooting without shooting your teammates that are also in this little space around you. And the friendly fire aspect and the like killing each other and stuff was a big part of it. So that same thing is here, except you're in a third person over the shoulder. You could also use the aim down sights on guns if you choose to, but overall it's very much more arcadey. It's not like you don't have to be necessarily nailing headshots on everything. It helps at higher difficulties if you're able to shoot a bug right when it's about to spit something at you because it has a weak spot in its mouth. There are enemies where you absolutely have to break off armor in order to start to damage it, and there's little tricks to that. It's like, if you hit them in the leg twice with this type of weapon, they go down much faster. And there is some skill in using the more advanced weapons. There's like a grenade, a stratagem that you throw and it calls down like a laser, and some of them will just follow the enemies and wipe them out. Some will just drop a bomb right where you asked it to, and it's on a delay of 3 seconds. So you kind of have to like put it in front of you a little bit so you know that the bug's gonna walk into it in 3 seconds, and you do a little like mental gymnastics and say, if I bounce this off here, I can jump off the cliff, land safely, but also throw this grenade on the landing I was on, and the bug will be there right when it needs to shoot the ordnance right into its belly. And you can do stuff like that. So, but overall, it's very arcadey. I got an achievement for unlocking the machine gun and just unloading the entire clip it was just so fun to hold down the button. It was like, da, 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 and the clip's so long. And I'm just like killing all these bugs and they're just like, destroyed. And it's like, bleh, like achievement, like emptying a full clip for like, you know, like you would really never really have to do that. But they knew some people would because it was so fun. And I just like, it's very much arcadey. You jump in, you can jump out. One of the best aspects of it is even if you don't have a group, it has a very surprisingly healthy community where they've built this lore where it's like, it's us versus the bugs and the robots. Like we're all going to be in this galactic war together. Let's do this. And like they have emotes where you're like hugging and high-fiving and like it's a camaraderie among your fellow soldiers. And when you start the game, you can say, okay, get me into a quick play where somebody has dropped an SOS beacon saying, you drop a thing saying, come, someone please come help me. And you can join that game and you go in and sometimes you'll be playing and you drop that and somebody does come in and then you just start fighting the bugs together. And you don't get a lot of griefers where they come in and just kill you and just say, oh yeah, I'm going to mess up your game. I'm going to kill us and get our life pulled down to 0 and leave. Like surprisingly, it's just like, let's do this together. And you see like, you'll see like your squad of 4 just like in a line, like holding each other's backs and like trying to like shoot some bug as they're like reloading because you know that you need to back them up in that moment. And this is happening constantly. I forget where this quote comes from, but they say that a good co-op game is one where you, it's better if you play together and then the quote is something like, but an amazing co-op game is where you want to play together. Yeah. Something like that. So it's just like very fine-tuned and a very great co-op experience. And it is mindless violence is the core of it. And the thing about the dying quickly and dying to everything and it being friendly fire, surprisingly, when I went in, that's not my cup of tea. I was like, I just don't want to be dying so easily all the time. And even though you have a limited health pool, it just more adds tension to the moment to moment. Like there's some weight to the life that you have. So taking care of yourself and trying to keep your health up and stuff is a motivation where it's not frustrating that you die so easily. Yeah. It's funny if you die. The health pool does, like, if you wait like a certain number of minutes and you had 14, it'll give you another health pool like back. So at the end of a mission, if you had 0, you can wait that extra minute for it to refill and then call in your buddy so you could jump on the extract with you and you could have a full squad go out together. It's a great game. I recommend it if you're a fan of shooters. If you are a single player person, there is a pretty healthy community where you can jump in and find people to play with very quickly with the matchmaking. So highly recommended Helldivers 2. I'm so glad that I picked it up. It's a discount title at $40. So,
oh, is that right?
Yes. So try to get in there if you can.
Yeah, see,
support.
Now
it's a good game.
Now you're okay. All right.
Yeah, it's decent. You and your son would love it.
This is definitely like the talk of the moment. Like everybody is talking about Helldivers 2.
Helldivers is hot.